That's not a fun noise. Might be just a little belt slip or something going on there. What in the hell? What's up everybody? My name's Kyle and welcome to the LRT Outpost. Now if you're new to the channel, I just have a bunch of random projects and hobbies that I get into and y'all get to hang out and see what I'm doing for the day. Lately we've been messing with our RZR Pro XP build. We actually have a ride coming up in a couple of months to go to West Virginia. First time I've ever been, so I'm pretty excited about that. Now in a previous video I did kind of a walk around. I picked up this 2020 Pro XP up off of Facebook Marketplace and I've just been kind of running through it and just make sure everything's good to go. I've been getting a squealing noise and it's really annoying. At first I thought it was the clutch. These particular units, the clutches are kind of garbage and also known to, well, explode. They're also known to have like a kind of a weak secondary spring and can have some belt slip issues and stuff. So I naturally thought, well, that's a good starting point. Let's go ahead and replace those time bomb clutches and go ahead and fix that problem. So after we slapped in the new clutches, I put a new belt in it as well, and we took it some laps around the outpost and I was feeling really good about it. Belt seems to be lined up all right, and that squealing noise is gone. So far, so good. Now, unfortunately, the other day, I was taking this thing for some rips, again, feeling real good, and the noise came back. Like, I just think it's driving me nuts. I gotta figure out what this is. I got kind of frustrated and I just started bombing the track. I was trying to like make the noise happen because at first I thought it was kind of random. I couldn't like figure out like when it was doing it. I don't think it's a belt slip issue because I launched this thing on dry pavement and it just spun the tires over and went. Like I don't think there was any belt slip. I didn't feel anything and it didn't make the noise at that point. I'm only getting that little squeal noise when I'm taking a turn. And usually under pretty hard throttle, unless I'm on pavement. Now, if I take a turn on pavement, and even if I give it kind of like, you know, little over quarter throttle, half throttle, it'll do it. I think it's just maybe tension on the wheel possibly, and it's a wheel bearing problem. So that's my next step. I know these actually also had an issue with the knuckles. The 2020s, the knuckles were aluminum and the tolerances were just slightly too big for the wheel bearings. And Polaris's fix was just to squirt some 603 Loctite in there when you mush in the wheel bearing and hope for the best, I guess. I don't know if these are the original wheel bearings or not. I'm assuming they possibly are. I actually replaced our brakes and our rotors on this because our sponsor of the channel, Trailed Brakes, was kind enough to give us a set of their Ridge Rider rotors to test out on this unit and a set of their ceramic brake pads. So a little shout out to Trail Brakes. If y'all need brake pads for any of your big boy toys, go check them out, trailed.com, and go ahead and save yourself 10% off and use our discount code LRT Outpost. Hook you up. But when I installed those rotors, the outer like dust cap came off on like almost all those wheel bearings, and they were really tight. Like I had to like tap out with a dead blow hammer the hubs and the rotors off of when I went to replace them. So worst case scenario, I'm just going to have new wheel bearings, and it probably needed it anyway. So I just ordered some from Super ATV, just some generic replacements for now. We may do some upgrades in the future to kind of fix that knuckle problem. I think you can get the knuckles off of a 2021 and I think up, and they're steel and they fix the tolerance problem. So that's probably what we'll do in the future. But for now, because I'm trying to hunt this noise down, we're just going to go ahead and run through and replace all these wheel bearings. So I think I'm just going to get started on the front here. We'll jack this thing up and let's get into it. If anybody knows somebody who's got a hookup on an off-road jack, let me know in the comments. Obviously, I could use one. wheels out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and pull off the brake caliper. We're just gonna zip tie it out of the way. That's all we're gonna do. Come here. Alright, there we go. And I'm gonna pull off our little center cap here. And the cotter pin, your castle nut. Nope. Nope. There we go. Got it. So now we're going to take off our tie rod and our upper and lower pinch bolts. I don't want to mess up the threads, so actually I left the bolt just to the bottom of the threads on the bottom of the tie rod. See if we can pop this out. Maybe a little fire will help. There we go. Just need a little negotiating with, that's all. That one behaved itself. There we go. How about that? That came out without too much of a fuss. I must not have been paying very close attention when I replaced the rotors on this thing, because the driver's side bearing, holy smokes, it's got a lot of movement to it. Whoops. The passenger side was okay, but this one definitely needed to be replaced. So when we get these cleaned up a little bit, get that little snap ring in there negotiated out, and we'll take them over to the big shop to the press. All right, so we got our knuckles all cleaned up, got the snap ring out of there, which that took a lot more effort than what it should have. But anyways, so there are some like hand tools that you can get to replace the bearings on this, but if you're lucky like me and have a press, this is the best way to do it. I will say, get yourself a actual bearing like tool kit. This is from Quad Logic, and it actually just allows you to just set the knuckle right on that. This is for the bearing. Press it out, it drops into that cylinder, and then you just flip it upside down like that to press the new one in from the back. So makes life a lot easier. So this should hopefully go smoothly. Polaris's fix was to put some 603 Loctite inside the bearing here when you press in the new one. I couldn't find any. I went all over the place locally to all the auto parts stores, and I just couldn't find any. So the next thing I found was like the Permatex Red. So hopefully that'll be good enough. We'll see. Again, just for now, I'm just trying to chase this noise down. So I think this will probably work out for right now, just so I can kind of isolate what's going on. So let's start pressing these bearings in and out. Hi. That was aggressive. But it worked. And there's our bearing. So now I'm just going to clean the inside of these out before we press the new ones in. And I just take a screwdriver and I just try to get out as much debris out of here as I can, especially where the snap ring goes in. And I'll take just a little bit of steel wool, run it down with a little bit of parts cleaner, and just run it in here. Nice and clean in there now. Ready for our new bearing. Take our red Permatex. I'm just going to kind of squirt it all in here. I'm going to put a little bit on the bearing as well. And obviously we want to press it in as straight as we can, so I'm just going to take my time. Make sure everything's nice and lined up. Everything looks like it's going in nice and evenly, so we're going to keep on going. All right, as soon as I feel a good amount of resistance, I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up. And I can see the bearing seated, because I can see where my snap ring is going to go back in place. I'll just finish cleaning up this excess Permatex and then we'll go reinstall. All right, now even though these are brand new bearings, I'm going to make sure they have plenty of grease on them. So I'm going to take my little wheel bearing grease tool and just slide it in here. Just like that. I'm going to put our grease gun on it. There we go. And I got quite a few pumps in there, even though it's a brand new bearing. So I just like to make sure they're real packed full of grease. Helps them last a lot longer. So that's really all we got to do with the front. We're going to slap everything back together. And then we're going to back the RZR in to give myself a little bit more room to work with, and we can knock out the rears. Okay, so front is done, and we are at the rear of the machine. And we already got our brake caliper and the hub out of the way. So that part's very similar to the front. However, with the rear, you got your radius rods and your trailing arms. So the radius rods are bolted to the knuckle here and here. And then the knuckle is also bolted to the trailing arm with 4 bolts here. And then it should just come out this way. Looks like it should be fairly simple. So we'll see. Careful with a little washer. Well, that wasn't bad at all. So we'll do the same thing to the other side. Take them over to the big shop, push them in, push them out. Push it real good. And we're gonna take the same for a test rip to see if we got rid of that noise. Before we do that though, I'm gonna let that Permatex that I put on the bearings sit and cure overnight. I think it says 24 hours for a full set, so I just want to make sure that has a chance to dry like it's supposed to. We'll come back out here tomorrow, take it for a few laps around the track, and fingers crossed we got rid of that noise. Okay, it's the next day. It's cold, and of course, it's raining. It's been raining all day. I'm actually getting this video out a little late probably because I was trying to wait around and see if it would clear up, but it is not. So we're gonna go rip the RZR anyways. The track is probably very, very wet. Ugh. So far so good. That was low gear. Belt's probably a little warm now, so let's try high, see what happens. So obviously that didn't fix our problem. Well, worst case scenario, I got new wheel bearings in, so I know I'm starting from fresh there. I just really cannot think of anywhere else where that type of squealing, kind of metallic resonance type noise would come from. But I'm feeling a little defeated for one weekend. We're having me a couple trail sodas, do a little bit of homework, and see if I can't figure out something. But that will be a project for another day. So if you want to follow along with this project, as long as everything else I get into out here at the Outpost, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe for me, and I'll catch you in the next one.